Hi, I'm going to be making some Bilton light dried meat. Last year we went on holiday and the journey was around 14-16 hours on the plane, and if I hadn't done this I would not have survived. I am a carnivore. I've been a carnivore for the last 5 years, and there's nothing worse than traveling somewhere and not being able to have meat. And I thought I'd share this with you because if you are carnivore, moving into carnivore, you really cannot eat food on the planes and you need to survive somehow, and this is the ideal way. So I've got some meat here and I'm just going to slice it up into thinnish sections with the fat, keeping the fat on. The fat really adds to the flavour. It's your choice how chunky you make them. The chunkier they are, the longer it takes. So you don't want it too thin, but you don't really want it too chunky either. So I've got a number of little sections here, and we'll see at the very end what they end up like. Once this is cut, it will go into an oven, very, very low oven. We're fortunate to have an Aga here, so we can put it in at 70 centigrade, and it will take roughly around 5-6 hours. We will come back at the end to show you. You don't want to make the slices too small because you don't want them to drop through, but the fattier the better. The fattiness makes a huge, huge difference. I don't have any salt. I don't have any salt in my diet. But if you don't have a problem with your kidneys, I used to because I was type 2 diabetic and my kidneys got damaged in the process. Although I'm healing, I'm not fully there yet. So I have no salt. But if you have no problem, you can add a bit of salt. So I'll just put it in the oven here. And you can see here that it's at 70 centigrade. And that'll be, now we used to do it over here. Don't look too carefully. But we've got, my wife's giving me the look because she wasn't planning on showing this corner.
I'm still not.
But we've got an air dryer over there, and that works just as well. But then we thought, you know, we've got a perfectly good cooker that's on all the time, so we may as well use that one. So we'll come back later in about 5 hours and we'll show you what it looks like. Yes, so only me is the carnivore. My wife likes to have a few. She wanted to show this. But she left it there strategically. Anyway, we'll come back in about 5 hours. So just over 6 hours have gone by, and I must admit I did cut them slightly thicker than I should have. But so here's a piece, and if I'd done it a little bit thinner, it'd be much drier. You can see the oil's coming through now. Yummy. So just put them there, and I want to do an experiment. Really, these ones are not quite cooked enough. Now I'm going to put them back in. I'll put them back in because whilst, if you look at the very thin ones here, so this one's here much thinner. If I cut it, it's much harder. But it's great. But I'll leave them to dry a little bit more. I'll put it back in because it clearly can do with a bit more cooking. Yummy. We'll come back in a couple of hours. Another couple of hours have gone by, And yeah, this is much more chewy. Great. You see that the fattiness really helps, gives a lot of flavour. So I'll put it in the bag. This is an experiment, so I can freeze it for a few days, and we'll see what it tastes like when I've taken it out of the freezer. Because if it freezes for a few days, then it means I can make as much as I need to keep me going and my family when we're on the plane. Like that. The little bits of Bilton, they've been frozen for a few days. That's because it's still frozen, so I'm just going to leave them on the side for a few hours, and we'll come back later, see what they taste like. The moment of truth. I couldn't wait much longer. So, softened up. Now, still quite chunky, and I have to say that I prefer it chunkier rather than very thin. But it does mean you have to let it cook for that little bit longer. And I think putting it in the freezer actually helps, because it's taking some of the moisture out as well, so it helps it to dry that a little bit more. So I think this is a success, and I'm going to be very busy for the next few days, making loads of it, putting it in the freezer, ready to take with us on our holiday. Try it. Bye-bye.